Have you ever wondered how many ancient civilizations disappeared before the beginning of the Common Era? We are used to hearing about Egypt, Greece, or Rome. But long before them, and sometimes at the same time, there were peoples the world only discovered quite recently. They built cities, created complex water systems, traded across vast distances, and left behind mysteries that scientists still cannot fully explain. Today, we are going to talk about unknown civilizations of the ancient world that were, in many ways, rediscovered by archaeologists. The Indus Valley Civilization. Let's begin with one of the most astonishing civilizations of antiquity. The Indus Valley Civilization. It existed roughly from 3,300 to 1300 BC in the territory of present-day India and Pakistan. What is most remarkable about it is the level of urban development. In cities such as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, there were straight streets, brick houses, and even advanced drainage systems. At a time when many peoples were only beginning to form early states, this civilization had already built real cities with careful planning. But there is one major mystery. Scholars still cannot decipher the writing of this civilization. That means we still do not know what these people called themselves, what they believed in, or exactly how their society was organized. The Manoan Civilization. The next mystery of the ancient world is the Manoan Civilization, which existed on the island of Crete from about 3000 to 1100 BC. The Manoans are known for their palaces, especially the famous Palace of Knossos, their colorful frescoes, and their advanced maritime trade. They are considered one of the first great seafaring civilizations of Europe. Interestingly, very little was known about the Manoans for a long time. Their remains only began to be actively studied in the early 20th century. But just like with the Indus Valley Civilization, another mystery remains here as well. Their script, known as Linear A, has still not been deciphered. So we can see their art, palaces, and everyday objects, but we still cannot fully understand their world. The Hittite Civilization. Now let's move to Asia Minor, where the powerful Hittite state once existed. From roughly the 17th to the 12th century BC, they were one of the strongest powers of their time. What is interesting is that for a long time, the Hittites were considered almost legendary. They were known only from ancient texts, but there was no real proof that such a people had existed. Everything changed when archaeologists discovered the Hittite capital, Hattusa. It turned out to be a vast and well-organized state that even rivaled Egypt. The Hittites took part in the famous Battle of Kadesh, after which one of the earliest known peace treaties in history was concluded.
Norte Chico. Now let's travel to South America. There, in the territory of modern-day Peru, existed the Norte Chico Civilization, one of the oldest in the world. It emerged around 3000 BC. For a long time, almost nothing was known about it. But excavations showed that this was a complex society that built monumental structures and had a high level of social organization. What is especially important is that Norte Chico developed very early, almost independently from the civilizations of the Old World. This means human societies in different parts of the planet may have developed in much more complex ways and much earlier than previously believed.
The Olmecs. When speaking about the ancient mysteries of the Americas, it is impossible not to mention the Olmecs. This civilization existed roughly from 1500 to 400 BC in what is now Mexico. The Olmecs became famous for their giant stone heads. Some of them weigh several tons, and it is still not entirely clear how they were transported and erected. The Olmecs are often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica because they strongly influenced later civilizations of the region, yet they themselves remain deeply mysterious.
Singh Dooi. Another astonishing discovery was made in China, the culture of Singh Dooi. The main finds date back to the 2nd millennium BC. Archaeologists uncovered strange and highly unusual bronze masks, statues, and ritual objects there. They were so different from what we usually associate with ancient Chinese art that they forced scholars to rethink their understanding of the development of ancient China. These discoveries showed that in ancient times, different cultural centers existed across China rather than one single line of development as many had previously assumed. Why they were unknown. So why were all these civilizations unknown for so long? There are several reasons. First, many of them disappeared thousands of years ago and were literally buried beneath the earth. Second, some of their writing systems still have not been deciphered. That means they cannot tell us their stories directly. And finally, many of these discoveries were made only in the 19th and 20th centuries, when archaeology began to develop as a modern science. The history of the ancient world is far richer and more mysterious than we often imagine. Before the Common Era, civilizations existed that built cities, created art, traded widely, and developed impressive technologies, and then vanished, leaving behind only ruins and questions. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that archaeologists continue to make new discoveries, which means the unknown civilizations of the past may still surprise us in the future. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments which ancient civilization you would like to learn more about.